The archdemon of the shadow side of Tiphareth is Belphegor. Belphegor began as a Moabite deity, the lord of Mount Pegor, who ruled over fertility and sexual power and was worshipped through the phallus and the practice of orgies. Belphegor literally means Lord of the Gap, the pass through which the Israelites entered Canaan. He was the Lord of Mount Peor, where he was worshipped. His licentious practices, which drain vital essence, lured and seduced the Israelites just as they were about to enter the Holy Land. God in his wrath then ordered Moses to behead the leaders of the Moabites and send a plague upon the transgressive Israelites. It is written that 24,000 people died in this onslaught. Thus from such an act was the demon Belphegor born. He was demonized to become the patron of soul death, through the vice of pride and the cause of disputes. Thus does this demon rear its ugly head every time humanity transgresses to defile the core beauty of the soul. When any being veiled by pride and arrogance lures and disrupts humanity from harmony and creates dispute for profit, the demon gains prominence. His role as a demon was to sow discord amongst men and to seduce them to evil through the apportionment of wealth. He seduces men with the promise of wealth and offers the power of discovery and ingenious invention. However, his promise is false, as he seduces them into apathy and sloth, and draws them into procrastination and idle dreaming, where they are subdued and lose their willpower, thus damning them. Beauty is veiled and the soul dies unto his bidding. He will take the form of a beautiful woman, naked in all her glory, to seduce those who would fall for his wiles, to lure them with the promise of sensual indulgence and lead them into their own demise. He also appears as a terrible demon with leathery flesh, huge horns, long sharp teeth and fingernails, and a gaping mouth to dissuade a soul through fear. He was once a phallic deity associated with sex, orgies, and all forms of debauchery in general. He became the patron demon of dispute, a demonic taint that destroys one's ability to behold beauty, which should simply be beheld in appreciation. It is said he was sent to earth by Lucifer to see if happiness and harmony and marriage really existed. And he concluded it did not. He manifests in the vampiric, life-draining lords and employers, sucking life from the unweary to feed their own sick aspirations, who promise prosperity but trick people into soul-dead forms of slavery, a subsistence that feeds the wealth and opulence of the demon lord, reducing soul-drained people to his minions. So ingrained is this demon in the systems of men that most deem it normal to work continuously in a life that leaves them drained of energy, creativity, and any spiritual connection or soulful fulfillment. He is the aristocracy and corporate greed that feeds off the unfortunate to cake themselves in a false beauty, to hide the ugliness of their monstrous nature. The demon's hold is avoided by forming a direct link to divinity through one's own presence and through theophanic prayer, experiencing divinity through one's own conscious experience, rather than giving it away through demonic deals and pacts. Signing one's soul over to the devil's book may include conversion into religious denominations that place priests between a soul and one's relationship to the divine, which inhibits one's own mystical experience and the ability to form one's own interpretation of Scripture. The angels themselves are the only true medium between the soul and the divine being Ein Sof. Those whose souls are drained of life by the demonic lures of Balfegor are taken by the order of devils in Tiphareth called Tigiriron. Balfegor's minions are the Tigiriron, the disputers, those who bellow grief and tears. They argue for their own cause even if it is wrong. They complicate issues just to delay a journey. They cannot see the light of beauty within themselves, so they seek to reduce others to their own miserable ugliness. They are the complainers. They are the grumpy bullies who disrupt proceedings of any kind to find pleasure in other people's difficulties. They are the lawyers who master argument to protect guilty criminals. They are tedious bureaucrats in their most stifling manifestations who hinder one's purpose with ridiculous paperwork. They are the devils of taxes. They are the soul-dead deniers who grey out the luminosity of the spirit. They will cause disruption against the purpose of humanity as a whole. They are lost to endless argument and always working against each other. They are depicted as great black giants wrestling. They build ugliness and groan about it. They are veiled from beauty and see the world as a cruel place and perpetuate that revolt. Their cortex is called Zomiel, the revolt of God. It is not just by transgression from harmony and beauty into the licentious lure of momentary pleasure that the demon of Tiphareth takes hold, but by the soul-draining consequences that result. The devils are thwarted through composure with an agreeable ability to compromise that allows you to avoid quarrelsome argument and ugly forms of behavior and remain in a harmonious and humane state.